Hi everyone, so today we're going to look at fractions to percents and how to convert them. So we have the fraction 5 over 8 and I want to convert this into a percent. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into a decimal. Okay, and we know how to turn fractions into decimals. We divide. So your denominator is your divisor and your 5, or your numerator, is your dividend. Okay, so let's divide it out. Can 8 go into 5? The answer is no. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a decimal and a 0. Bring the decimal up. Can 8 go into 50? Yes, it can. It goes into 50 6 times. 8 times 6 is 48. Okay, subtract, you get 2 left over. We're going to add another 0 and bring it down. Can 8 go into 20? Yes, it can. It can go into 22 times. So 8 times 2 is 16. Subtract 4, add another 0, bring it down. Can 8 go into 40? Yes, it can. It goes into 40 5 times perfectly. 8 times 5 is 40, and we're done. Okay. Now, in this case, the thousands place, I was able to divide evenly into that thousands place. But if you see it keeps on going, when you get to the thousands place, I would just round off. So if this kept on going, I would just kind of round this, and this would become 0.63. Okay. If it's repeating, so for instance, if you get 0.333, you want to put like a repeater line and just kind of cut it off. You don't want to be writing these numbers down all day. So once you get to the tens, hundreds, thousands, I would say just stop and round. Okay. So now we have a decimal. So this is called 625 thousandths, and I'm going to write this as a percent. So you remember that last video? From a decimal to percent, I'm going to go to the right, because the percents are always to the right, right? Correct? So we're going to go 1, 2. Okay? So this is going to become 62.5. That's the new home of the decimal, percent. Okay? 62.5%. And you might think, well, that's weird. There's still a decimal. You could still have decimals in percents, just like you can have fractions with percents. That's okay. So this is 62% plus a little bit more, plus a half. That's what that means. So it's 62.5%. Okay. Let's look at another example. This one's involving a whole number. We have 2 7/20, and we want to convert this into a percent. So your 2 is going to be going to remain a 2 when you become a decimal, because we have to make this into a decimal. So this is going to be a 2 for sure. There's going to be a 2 whole number. That's not going to change. So you can just kind of put that there, copy it over, right? And I want to figure out my decimal portion, right? So I'm going to divide this, 7 over 20. So 20 goes on the outside, 7 goes on the inside. Can 20 go into 7? Nope, it can't. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a decimal, and then we're going to add a 0. Can 20 go into 70? Absolutely. You can go in 3 times. 20 times 3 is 60. 10 left over. Let's go ahead and add another decimal and bring it down. Can 20 go into 100? Absolutely. It can go in 5 whole times. 20 times 5 is 100. So we are done. Okay, so we've got 2 and now we have the decimal part, 0.35. So 2.35. So now we're going to think about how can we move a decimal to a percent, and remember it's to the right, to the right. To the right, to the right. And if you forget that, just think your percents are always kind of at the end. They're always on the right. So that's the direction we're moving it. Your decimals are usually on the left. So to go from a percent to a decimal, you would move it to the left, to the left. But since percents tend to be on the right, you go to the right, to the right. So I'm going to move it to the right, 2 spots. 1, 2. So my answer is 235%. So your first step is you want to first convert it into a decimal and then move your decimal 2 spots to the right to create a percent. Now, I have a percent. How do I make a percent into a fraction? Well, that's kind of easy. So if I had 60%, or let's do 57%. How would I make this into a fraction? Well, I would take this number and I'd pop it over 100 because all percents are out of 100%. And then I would simplify if I could. Okay, and this one I can't simplify, so this is my answer. Okay, so I just take the number and pop it over 100. If I had 151%, this would be 151 over 100. Okay, then this becomes an improper fraction, and so when I divide it out, okay, this becomes 151 over 100. Okay, so it's just a basic improper fraction. I can divide it out just to show you. So 100 goes into 151 one time. 51 left over. Ice cream cone. This becomes, hold on, let me make sure you guys can see this. This becomes 151 over 100. So that's just that's just converting into an improper fraction, which is what I just did. Okay, so even if you have over 100%, this number goes in your numerator over 100. This is an improper fraction. How to fix an improper fraction? We divide it out. Here I did that. 100 goes into 151 one time. 100 times 1 is 100. 51 left over. Sorry, that looks like a 57. It's a 51. So it's 151 over 100.